Hi, welcome to the Recovery Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Abassi. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. Welcome. And if you watch video for my podcast episodes, we are totally having a new angle today. And it's because I'm lazy. And I was like, I'm just putting it on my lap. I'm done. I'm just really tired today. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to try not to move so the camera doesn't move too much, but we'll see. Whatevs. Okay. So today I want to talk about choosing happy. And I've talked about this quite a bit over the past year. Yes, it has been a year. Unbelievable that I've been doing this. So pretty cool. And I've talked about how you can just choose to be happy. And I've talked to you about how my psychiatrist kind of corrected me. She didn't kind of, she totally corrected me, about how when you choose happy, it does not mean that you are ignoring your grief and sadness. And how, as human beings, we are capable of feeling complex emotions. So, what does it mean to choose happy, especially when things are kind of sucky? How can we feel grief or sadness and still opt for happiness? This is something that I have been working hard at in recovery over the past year. I just cannot believe it's been a year that I've been doing this. I mean, it has been hard. It's been hard. And but I'm still kicking, I'm still going. And it has taken every bit of that year for me to practice seeking and choosing joy and happiness. So what I want to share are some ways that you can put this mindset, this choosing happy, into action. I want to actually share with you what it means, how you can get there from a reason, in a reasonable way. It's important that in recovery, whether it's from a stroke or from anything that you're dealing with or sobriety, there is a lot of stages of grief and sadness and confusion and all of that stuff that needs to process. But we don't want to lock ourselves in a room with, grape soda and cheddar popcorn watching Notting Hill to get through it. I use that as an example because that's exactly what I used to do is sit in front of the TV with grape soda and cheddar popcorn and watch. I wasn't watching Notting Hill, I was watching Airplane. That movie Airplane, that's like the obnoxious comedy. And those are some fond memories actually when I was younger, but it wasn't healthy for me, it was me escaping as a younger person. As I got older, it was a glass of wine and Notting Hill. I love Notting Hill. So let's start by unpacking this idea of choosing happy. Choosing happy is a decision, but where does the decision lie? It's when you say choose happy, like I have this picture over top of my desk that says choose happy. That's all it says. It's a white, just framed picture that says in black, choose happy and in cursive. And when I've been looking at this framed picture over the years, it's abstract. Isn't that weird? Choosing happy was a little abstract to me. It wasn't a tangible thing. I didn't know how to do it. It's kind of like letting go. I didn't know how to let something go. I had to get a God box and I had to do something physical, take some kind of action to like show myself what it means to let something go. Well, I really didn't know what choose happy meant either. And this is really becoming um it was an epiphany when the psychiatrist said it's not something that you're not replacing negative feelings with happiness. You are leaning in the direction. So when you're feeling both things at the same time, because we can do that as human beings. And when she introduced that idea to me, my mind has just taken that and run with it. Um, so at its core, choosing happy means that we're making a conscious decision to let our joy come to the surface despite the challenges that we face. So I have mentioned before that what I believe, I don't like to say we're finding joy because finding joy means that we're looking for it somewhere outside of ourselves. We are looking for something to make us happy. I believe that joy is inside of us and we carry it with us at all times. And we can make a decision to let joy come to the surface. And we just have to push things aside to let it get there. Well, that's why I always thought that choosing happy means that, I've got two things I can be. I can be happy or I can be sad, and I'm choosing happy. But my psychiatrist made me rethink that. That's not exactly what's happening. We can be both at the same time. They can coexist. And it can feel very complicated. I have, but have you ever felt such complex feelings that you were in the middle of having a conversation maybe with somebody and you're crying about something, um, and then you start laughing about something else? Like, how, I need an example. So perhaps you have lost somebody in your life and you are mourning them and you're crying. And then during this time that you're crying, maybe you're talking to somebody else and you guys are reminiscing. You don't have to even be with somebody else, but it's just an idea. And you're talking about something funny that that person who passed did, and you laugh, right? You can be sad, crying about the loss of this person, but you can also laugh at the same time. That is what I mean by it can coexist all at the same time. So I feel like the way that these complex emotions can coexist and we can process all of them as they come is by letting vulnerability be like this. Sorry about the description, but be like a gaping open sore on your heart that everybody and everything is allowed to see. It's like you are opening up and being vulnerable. You can be happy, you can be sad. Why would you want to do that? Like, why would you want to be so open that you are able to be damaged? Somebody can hurt you. Because in my opinion, when you let vulnerability in, when you open yourself up like that, like your heart is just an open sore. Sorry, I know that's gross, but when you let the light shine on it, it seems to heal faster. I swear it's like mold. It grows in dark, cold places, you know? But if we can let that negativity, whether it's sadness or fear or grief or frustration, when we don't allow it to sit in dark, cold places, it heals faster. And moreover, when we open it up and are vulnerable, we invite other people to help us heal. So we're not healing alone. So Brené Brown, whom I adore, I don't know her personally, but I like watching her. She said vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. So I have that on a little sticky note that I had stuck to a magnet, and it was in my office at my last job. And now I have it sitting at my desk. And I look at it all the time. It's so vital to me in my life to be vulnerable. And that is why I'm able to do this podcast, because for me, vulnerability is the key to my tomorrow, to my growth, to the better me. The more that I am willing to be vulnerable, the better I'm going to be tomorrow. That's my decision for me. Today, I'm talking about the change part. Vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. Today, I'm talking about change. At work, I really was, at any given time, I was looking at inviting vulnerability in because I needed to not be afraid to throw ideas out there at work, to be innovative in what I was doing in my role, to be creative. And then at times when I needed to change at work, or I needed to help something change at work, it required vulnerability again. So I really love this quote from her. Choosing happiness is finding joy in little tiny itty bitty unexpected places. And it's cultivating a mindset that prioritizes positivity in your day. Like, even though there's gravity, I'm still going to jump. I'm still going to jump up. Gravity is not going to stop me. I'm going to still try to jump. I know when I jump, I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm just going to fall right back on the earth. But I jump anyway. Choosing happy is like, even though I'm tired, I'm still going to go forward. Like I'm still going to keep walking even though I'm tired. Even though it hurts, I'm still going to lean on it. You know, it doesn't mean ignoring or suppressing negative emotions. In fact, it's quite the opposite. We're actually, I think, even more acknowledging those negative emotions, acknowledging that they're here and choosing to weave happiness alongside them, like giving our negative emotions some company, giving them the happy ones too. They can frolic off into the sunset together. So how do we balance those two things? How do we balance feelings of grief or sadness with choosing happy? Um, so as I said, like choosing happy doesn't mean I'm not going to be sad today, or I'm not going to grieve, or I'm not going to be frustrated. This is all a part of the human experience. Um, Instead of choosing happy, by replacing those emotions, we're allowing ourselves to feel them, but not be consumed by them. Process them, but still seek opportunities to take a break from them. We don't have to, like, I feel like, especially when I lose somebody in my life, if somebody passes, I feel like I have to sit in it. I have to not take a break from it. I mean, I I used to think, okay, this person passed away. They don't get a break from that. Like they're gone. They're gone forever. So I need to grieve them forever and to honor them, Um, I truly felt that way. And it meant, honestly, it meant that um, an individual who passed away when I was 18, I never let it go until I got sober. I never truly let it go. Um, and letting go doesn't mean that I've just forgotten it or it didn't mean something to me, but it means I'm able to move on with it. Letting go of it means that I'm not forgetting it. I'm able to move forward despite of it, despite it. So choosing happiness when we feel negativity is building resilience. That's exactly what it is. And finding a way to live no matter what we're going through. And I don't mean live like breathing. I mean live, like enjoy life. So how do we do this in our daily lives? So this is one thing that I do. And I did this the other day. Make a decision before you even sit up in bed in the morning about one thing that you can look forward to in the day. Um, this is something that has just been happening for me over the past year. Like I think it's been more so lately, but that I will, before I even get up, think, what am I going to do today that's going to make me happy? You know? This simple practice can shift your focus from what's wrong to what's right, setting a positive tone for the day, healing you away from what you can't do to what you are excited to do. Even if your to-dos have had to change, depending on, if you are dealing with a disability like I am, or you're in early sobriety and you're feeling kind of like, I can't do this anymore, I can't go out and party tonight, or I can't go to happy hour. Think about one thing that you love that you can do. Sometimes I think I'm gonna have a Slurpee today. Like, I love Slurpees. Um, and that is just enough for me some days. Some days I have to work a little harder at it, but making that decision before you even get up is representing way more than what it is that you're deciding to do. It's choosing happy. That's what that is. It is the beginning of choosing happy for the day. Next, another thing that I do is name one person that I'm going to call today. So sometimes when I'm in my 7 a.m. sobriety meeting and I'm, drifting in and out of paying attention, because my mind never stops, I will think about who I'm going to call today. I have gotten out of calling one person a day. Progress, not perfection, but I need to get back to that. I have been starting to get back to that a bit. So think of who you want to call for the day. This serves many purposes as well. Number one, it makes sure that you're not going to isolate yourself all day, that there is somebody that you will communicate with. Like, you're making that kind of promise to yourself. So write it down, put it on your calendar, on your phone. These small intentional actions can lift your mood, Many of these types of things also can make others happy too, which will just continue to add some lift under your mood. Make it a point to leave positive impressions on others today. Those people, I know those people that you may work with or you've run across in life, that if they're having a bad day, then everyone around them needs to have a bad day, and they make sure of it. And they're just nasty. I've run across quite a few of these people in my life. And I don't want to be one of those people. So I make an enormous effort to leave a positive impression on others, no matter what's going on inside of me. Sometimes it's hard, really hard. But I try to, in those cases, communicate simply by saying, I'm not feeling very happy, or, it's I, not you. So if I focus on communicating like, I'm not feeling quite right today, or I really need to talk, or something like that, then I'm not leaving a negative impression on them. What I'm actually doing is, I would say it's still a positive impression, because I'm telling them that I trust them, number one, because I want to talk to them about how I feel. And I'm nurturing the relationship. So even that kind of thing is a positive impression. Um, and then if it's somebody that you don't even know, it can be as simple as like kindly and lightly saying good morning to someone. in the kitchen at work that you don't typically say hi to, somebody that you don't even know their name, um, or somebody that you may pass on the street that you typically wouldn't even look up at them. Like, look at them. You may notice they're not even looking up and just say, good morning. And it's kind of, I've done that before and it kind of jars some people, but I'm quite certain it leaves a positive impression. There are some negative people in the world that would be like, how the hell is she saying hi to me? But those people just need to work on themselves, right? Everybody's sick in some way. So also take a few minutes throughout the day. This helps me. Take a few minutes throughout the day and go outside. And this might sound weird, but this is something that I like to do sometimes, and it really helps me. So I'll go outside and observe something. So I'm outside a lot because I bring the dogs outside to go to the bathroom. And with my bulldog, my English bulldog, we do a lot of standing around. He's a sniffer. So we do a lot of standing around. So sometimes I'm standing by poles, sometimes I'm standing by trees, sometimes I'm standing by fire hydrants or signs. There's something vertical that he's sniffing. Anyway, one thing that I like to do is go up to a tree and actually get a close up of it, touch it. Like there's tons of evergreen trees across from my house. And just the other day, I was out there looking at this, and there's these, I think they're little tiny pine cones. I think they're baby pine cones. I mean, I don't know my trees, but that's what it seemed like. It wasn't just the other day, actually. It was, I think, maybe last month. But when the pollen was really, really high, and anyway, I went up there and I was like touching the needles and these tiny little baby pine cones. And I must have been standing there for a few minutes, just like observing this and touching it. And it really like shifted my mindset at the moment. It reduced any kind of stress I was feeling, and it really like uplifted me. So I would encourage you to try it. It really helped me, especially if I include touch. So I started doing this in the fall when the leaves started changing color, because there's another tree that's outside of my house that gets really, really bright orange and red leaves. And so I went up to them and I was like touching them and stuff. And I was like, huh, I feel good inside. So give it a try. I mean, there's a lot that that's what we're all part of, this nature thing. And sometimes we forget that we're just a piece of this world. So I think it's kind of very grounding, I guess, to touch it and be close to it. So do something you love each day. So I talked about picking something that you love. So now you got to get up and do it. So whether it's doing a hobby like painting or gardening or reading, I sometimes like to think. Let's see if I can articulate this. So so when I come up with ideas, I know that I'm healthy, like I'm mentally healthy. If I am not coming up with ideas, then that means something's wrong, typically. So right before I started seeing a psychiatrist, I really was at a loss for finding hobbies. Like I just was not feeling like doing anything. I was very much caught up in what I can't do, even though I kept talking about in the podcast, like focus on what you can do, not what you can't do. Like I could not put that to action in my own life. So I started seeing like a psychiatrist. Well, as I've started to get better, these ideas just keep bursting out of me. So I keep doing these crafts. And if you follow me on social media or go to my website, recoverydailypodcast.com, I have a ton of upcycling projects. So today I took in a pair of shorts that I had because I lost some weight in recovery. And then I also made a basket out of some shirts. I had 3 shirts that I was donating to Goodwill. And I cut them into little 1-inch strips, and then I braided them all together and I made this basket. So check out my website. I'm going to load it on the website probably tomorrow. It's getting a little late, but it's super cute. I call it a slouchy basket because it was supposed to be a rug and that didn't work. And it turned into a basket, but it's really cute. It looks like it was all on purpose. And so that's an example of an idea. Like I'll just look around the house and be like, I don't really use this anymore. I wonder if I can give it a new purpose. I love to do that. I also like to think of crafts that I've never tried or something that I can make somebody. Like I've made a couple quilts for people, 2, literally 2. Or I have been spending a lot of time thinking about what a job could be that I could do, like a way that I could make money with my disability. If I am thinking of ideas, I am happy. You know, if I am happy, I am thinking of ideas. Like what came first, the chicken or the egg? I don't know. Honestly, I just know they come hand in hand. Another thing is moving my body. So moving your body releases endorphins, which are natural mood boosters. Find a physical activity that you enjoy. So I know that this is challenging for folks that are disabled. But what I do is right now is I walk my dogs around the block several times a day. And in the evening, I do push-ups, I do a plank, and I stretch. And I think that just keeping my body moving is important for my mood, but it's also important for like my physical health, as far as like the less I move, the more things start hurting. So yoga, dancing, you can dance without even getting up. I actually saw, that's hilarious that just came up in my head because I was looking out the window. My dog was barking today because Amazon was outside. And so typically when Amazon comes, the truck will park outside of my house because I live kind of at the end of the street. Not kind of, I totally live at the end of the street. And so Autumn will sit there. She'll either bark, or if I'm sitting with her, she'll sit and kind of like whine, waiting for the Amazon guy to bring us a package or something. Anyway, so I was sitting with her looking out the window and watching the Amazon guy, and there were 2 guys in the truck. And the guy in the passenger seat was like on his phone and he had his feet up and he started dancing, like straight up, just jamming in the Amazon truck. It was hilarious. And he was a good dancer, but he was not standing up. He was just like, I mean, he was doing all these things that I don't know what you kids call them these days, but it was hilarious. So take it from him. You cannot stand up and dance. What I used to do back when I was drinking, is I used to grab the vacuum, turn on Dixie Chicks, and start singing like I was on a stage. And that used to make me really happy. And I don't sing as much sober. Um, Sometimes I do. I do enjoy going into the bathroom and singing and turning the music up really loud and singing. There's nice, acoustics in there. So put together a playlist of your favorite upbeat songs. And when you're feeling especially poopy, turn them on and see what it does. We like to depression feeds on itself. So it's natural to feel like putting on a sad song when you're feeling sad, but it's really the opposite that we should do. Put on a happy song when we're feeling sad. Um, Look in the mirror and tell yourself to have a great day. I've talked about looking in the mirror and saying, I love you. We talk to ourselves all the time. Why is it so awkward to look at our face in the mirror and say things? I don't know, but it is awkward. And I do it every now and then when I'm feeling especially poopy. I will look in the mirror and say something, remind myself of my strengths and the good things that I have in my life. And especially when I'm within these four walls for several days in a row, sometimes it's good to look at myself in the mirror, make some eye contact, and reinforce like that I deserve to be happy, and I need that kind of encouragement. Set yourself up to laugh more. Watching a funny movie, listening to a comedy podcast, or spending time with people who make you laugh. My husband makes me laugh constantly, every day. I'm laughing like all the time. When I get my pooches out of their little crates in the morning, because they sleep in their dens, that's what I call it. I love to get them out in the morning and get really, really close to their like little sleepy eyes and warm face, and they're stretching and they're getting moving, and they're super soft and gentle and warm, and it just makes me smile every time, especially when I get really close to my bulldog's face and he's got all of those wrinkles and he's got these two tiny little teeth that stick out of his big lips. And it makes me laugh every morning. So it's that kind of stuff, I could wake up in the morning, not choose happy, and just let the dogs out of their crates and go moping downstairs. I'm not going to do that. It's just, that's not how I want to live. So I choose happy. It's a daily decision. And sometimes I have to make that decision multiple times a day. Make small intentional choices that prioritize putting a smile on your face. Putting my face up against my little pooches when they wake up in the morning always puts a smile on my face. Always. It's okay to have bad days, obviously, to feel like being alone and to rest and recuperate. I do that a lot. I do it a lot, a lot. But sometimes we can force a bad day into being even a mediocre day or a that wasn't so terrible day, Choosing happy isn't forcing yourself to be happy all the time or ignoring what's wrong. It's being kind to yourself and gentle with yourself and acknowledging your feelings, like being in touch with your feelings and not turning away from them, but looking at them, um, finding ways to lift yourself up like you would lift up a friend, or like you would lift up a little girl or a little boy if they were sad, you know? And I truly believe that I have that little girl inside of me and I need to take care of her. And it's my responsibility to do so. It's not anybody else's job to take care of me and to take care of those parts of me that are wounded or sad or um, vulnerable. It's as an adult, I have the tools to take care of her. And I know from my sobriety journey that I can do that. And it's been important for me to get in touch with the parts of me that have always existed since I was a little girl. Because I still feel them. And as long as I'm able to stay in touch with those feelings, um, I feel like I can be vulnerable and I feel like it's healthy for me. Um, and I feel like I'm growing. I'm giving myself opportunities to be happier, to continue to live a joyful life, um, for the rest of it, for the rest of my life, choosing to live this way. So thank you for joining me today on the Recovery Daily podcast. I hope these tips inspire you to choose happy even on tough days. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it. I will talk to you tomorrow.